I'd like to call to order the March 16, 2021 Brooklyn City School District Board of Education regular meeting. Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Here.
Mr. Neal.
Here.
Mr. Ober.
Here.
Mr. Slattery.
Here.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Here. Can we stand for the pledge, please?
Put it in your pocket.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Tonight, we do not have any comments from visitors. So now we will be going on to our superintendent's report, Dr. Ted Polaris.
Good evening, Mrs. Barcheck, Board of Education. I want to review the agenda items for this evening. You're going to see two contracts from Northeast Ohio Network for Educational Technology, NEOnet. One is for our EMIS services for next school year, and one is for our internet access and transport next year. This is part of the agreements that we have when we're switching from Connect to NEOnet for next year. You will see an agreement with Collins Equipment for the removal of the underground fuel storage tank over by the bus garage. This money will be coming out of the underground storage tank fund that we have this year. And it's a needed expense because at some point we're going to start accumulating fines through the EPA. So as opposed to prolonging it, Mrs. Neal made the recommendation to remove it. We have a primary service agreement with the ESC of Northeast Ohio. That's the standard agreement that we have with them. We have to be affiliated with an ESC through the state, and the ESC in Northeast Ohio is that entity. We also have interagency agreement with Bright Beginnings. This is for preschool services, outplay services. We have an agreement with Hometown Ticketing. This gives us the ability for next school year to sell athletic and activity tickets from an online mechanism. So we'll be looking at that for the 21-22 school year. Learn 21. This is an agreement with them for Mr. Taylor in the technology department. Helps him with the inventory of our current Chromebook fleet. Got about $1,200 or 12 or 1,300 devices. This is a needed way for him to keep track of that inventory. We have three motions for Martin Public Seating. Through some of our ESSER 2 funds and permanent improvement funds, we started looking at the much needed replacement of furniture and equipment at the high school. So next year we're going to start our rotation with classroom furniture. We're replacing four rooms of English rooms with furniture. We're going to put cafeteria tables. We're going to be doing our cafeteria with new furniture in there. And then 173, we're completely refreshing it. It's going to become a community room, but this is also going to be the home of our digital academy for next year. So those three motions will be on the agenda for this evening. Two of them out of ESSER funds, one of them out of permanent improvement money. Okay. Last approval under that section is a day trip to the Henry Ford Museum. No, we typically don't do that, but I always feel better when we do something like this. We got the clearance from the Board of Health. They felt confident with our mitigation techniques and some of the things going out. Henry Ford Museum, a lot of that is outside activities. So we're going to move ahead with the 6th grade trip next fall. It will be this year's 5th graders. So, and then next spring will be the current 5th graders. So by the end of next year, we'll be on cycle. We want to make sure that all the kids get the experience because of the pandemic. Current 6th graders didn't get to go last spring. We want to make sure they are able to do that. The next section, we have several administrative recommendations for contracts, which I've discussed with you, and also an exempt contract recommendation for Mrs. Baker. Last item, 5.10, is a volunteer coaching approval, and those are the items for the agenda. Couple comments that I want to go into before I get into the transportation presentation. Couple congratulations and celebrations. I want to congratulate all of our students for this past weekend's musical Freaky Friday. Kids did an amazing job. Crowd was good. People were able to see it live. I want to thank our seniors specifically, the ones who put their time in. Thank you to Mrs. Cipriani, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Black, and Mr. Casper. Special thanks to our Music Booster parents who took all their time to donate and set up. It was great. There you go, Mr. Singer. That's right. Congratulations to Jenna Young. Jenna's a sophomore that took second place at the OATCCC Indoor Track State Championship this past this winter. Thank you to our coaches, Coach Hubble, Coach Akins, Mr. Verba for all their work in allowing, Jenna to do this. Also want to thank our friends at Cuyahoga Heights. Cuyahoga Heights allowed Jenna to come there and practice. They've had a long-standing indoor track program. Jenna's the high jump, so there's not a lot of places to do that. And Coach Amari and Coach Atwell were amazing with Jenna, so I want to thank our friends at Cuyahoga Heights for doing that, really do. Also, congratulations to our students that that participated in the OMEA Solo and Ensemble contest on March 6th, so congratulations to them. Last comment and last update, Brooklyn Athletic Booster Club is sponsoring a March Madness bracket fundraiser. If you're interested in participating in that fundraiser, contact any of the Booster Club officers. And Mr. Slattery, they have a Facebook page, you said?
I saw it, that's where I actually saw it on Facebook. I believe they have their own page for the boosters.
Yes,
Great. Those are my comments. I'm going to just actually jump right into the transportation transition. Thank you. I want to update the board this evening on the transition to transportation for next school year. Don't have a lot of information, but I want to kind of give you a summary of what's kind of happened in the past and what we're thinking for next year and kind of going forward. So current practices, this is what's happening today, 2021 school year. We outsource our transportation with Parma City Schools, Suburban Transportation, and other third-party vendors. I know the district entered into the agreement 2 years ago prior to this with Parma for multiple reasons. This is what's happening now. So typically Parma transports our Polaris students. They transport our students with disabilities that are within the city. Suburban Transportation does our outplaced students with disabilities that go to a PEP Phoenix or a PEP Prentice or something like that. And then Parma, along with JNF and Barron's, kind of do a tag team on the transportation, or on the transportation of our athletics and activities. And obviously, that's been impacted this year with COVID and our restrictions. But typically, over the last 3 years, that's how our athletics and activities have come about. This is the third school year that we're using other vendors to transport our students. The average transportation cost, a 3-year average, is $444,000, $322.45. Now, that number is skewed because of last year and COVID, and I'm going to show you that right now. So here's an analysis, and I think Mrs. A for these numbers. But this is an analysis of what our costs were. So if you look at school year 17-18, that was the last year where Brooklyn transported its own students with vehicles, things like that. We paid about $414,000 out. Include salary, benefits, whole 9 yards. School year 18-19, regular year, non-COVID year, $516,000 in change. Okay? 19-20 was $402,000. Now, remember, with 19-20, we lopped off the fourth quarter. So we were with an outsourcing piece, we were averaging about $110,000 per quarter to transport our students. I also want you to note that for 18, 19, 19, 20, we had additional contracts with Barron's and J&F Transportation to properly transport our activities. Here's why. In our current agreement with Parma, the athletics and activities were mentioned and were there, but it was not a guarantee. Correct. So, if Parma wasn't able to transport our kids, Mr. Verba had to go out and find vehicles for our kids to get to 2 and away games, field trips, things like that. That's the reason sometimes we had the Barron's buses out there, because late cancellation from a vendor, and Mr. Verba had no choice but to do that to get our kids where they needed to be. Now, I want to thank Parma for their partnership, but I think going forward, I feel confident that we can do it just as well in-house. Now, and that's going to be a process. For school year 2021, we've paid out $41,000 this year. Now, that's skewed because, again, we've had 6 weeks of remote learning, so almost a quarter, and Parma is behind on their billing. So I anticipate that cost going up significantly over the spring to pay that out, because they got to get caught up. Okay? So let's talk about what we anticipate next school year is going to be like. We're going to have Brooklyn Transportation do our Polaris routes plus some midday and students with disability routes. We have 2 drivers dedicated. We have 2 vehicles. We're going to purchase a spare vehicle this spring at a reduced rate, so that we'll have a spare. But for our typical day-to-day stuff, we're hoping to have most of our students transported by Brooklyn Transportation, Brooklyn drivers. J&F will fill in where we need to fill the holes. They will also fill in with our athletics and activities. And we will do that in conjunction with our buses. Because right now we don't have enough vehicles and enough drivers to completely overtake the transportation for next year, but I'm hoping over the next 2-3 years we can phase that in, okay? And in the last bullet point there, suburban transportation will continue to transport our students with disability to the outplay schools. That's van work. We just don't have the manpower, and that's been working for us so far. Some of the day-to-day management, I want you to be aware of this, and I think we're fortunate. We're going to have a Brooklyn's transportation staff member scheduled from 6:30 to 3 o'clock daily. That staff member will run Polaris routes, we'll do midday routes, we'll do some afternoon routes, but in between, they will be there for kind of the day-to-day operation. Softball gets canceled, we need a trip here. That person will be the person in the bus garage to coordinate with our administrator that's overseeing transportation next year. So that's a good thing. We're gonna have another staff member working a 5-hour day to fill in that Polaris run. The director of alternative education athletics will oversee the department. So athletics and transportation kind of go hand in hand. What we found this year is we have transportation living in Mrs. Jones' office, living in athletics, and living in Mrs. Neal's office. Got a lot of people doing the same things, right? So to help alleviate some of that pressure, we're going to coordinate it out of one office and work through some of those things. But I think that's going to be a good thing for the district. Myself and Mrs. Neal will work with the transition piece over this spring and this summer and into next year too, because there's the paperwork piece that's required with transportation, and it's not easy to do, so we're gonna help our new administrator do that. I believe we're going to, I know we're gonna have a summer transition, meaning you'll, when we go to approve May classified employees, there'll be some small hours in June, and there'll be some hours dedicated in August so that our employee can get things set up. And really, they're gonna kind of be that day-to-day conduit. So if we have a call-off, they're gonna be on the phone with either JNF or our administrator to help facilitate that. So I anticipate it's gonna change a little bit, but right now, that's kind of big picture view of how it's gonna happen. We talked about this a little bit. We're gonna hire 2 drivers to do the buses. We're gonna hire a driver to fill in with some of our van runs and then we're gonna have a couple subs on staff. JNF Transportation will fill in routes, fill in the athletics and activities as needed. And from the athletic and activity standpoint, our Brooklyn drivers get priority, right? Part of the union contract. So they'll get first dibs on all of our away events, right? Or that they need to drive. Anything that they don't want to fill for whatever reason, they can't, they don't have availability. Our athletic director will then say, hey, I need a bus on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at this time, and kind of coordinate that. So from that perspective, it's going to be a cost savings because it's more cost effective for us to run the buses as opposed to that third-party vendor. So we're going to see some savings there. All credentialing of drivers will be facilitated through JNF, professional development. Subs will be filled internally by us and also by JNF. So here's what I'm thinking for anticipated costs, and I was very conservative with these figures. I really hope it's better, but this is my conservative estimate. I believe our Brooklyn transportation, salaries, benefits, fuel, supplies, the whole 9 yards for next year will cost us roughly $85,000. JNF transportation, and I believe this is high, but I'm going to leave it at this one, about $160,000 for the daily runs. With activities and athletics between us and JNF, another $80,000, and then our suburban transportation, I went high in about $100,000. If all those numbers hold true, I anticipate an approximate cost of about $425,000 to the district, which hopefully will see a net savings of about $80,000 to $100,000. So that's the anticipated cost analysis. Future costs, we always need to have fuel, right? So that's always ongoing and dependent on the economy, things like that. Supplies and repairs. So as these buses become more active, we're going to have to repair them, maintain them, things like that. Salary benefits. Eventually, we're going to have to cycle in new vehicles, and I think that's, if we plan the right way, we can do it for sure. And then there's always miscellaneous items, training, things like that, toll roads, things like that. So those are the anticipated future costs. Why change? I truly believe we're gonna see a cost savings to the district. We have a better connection to our students and families. Our students and families know our drivers, know our people. Communication, I think with us streamlining that process, we're going to see an increase in communication if something happens. And I'll be honest with you, this is the biggest one for me. It's a point of pride. I feel when I was in my other school district, it's always positive to see our buses go somewhere else. When Brooklyn went anywhere, it was Parma, right? And you hear kids say, "Oh, I thought we were playing Brooklyn," when they're off of a. So, I believe that we can do it the right way. Believe it's a point of pride. Many other districts in Ohio do this. Why shouldn't we? So, that's my kind of transportation transition. I want to open it up to any questions.
How confident are we in the vehicles that we have now? Because they're up there and
Yeah, great question. And so myself and Mrs. Neal met with our mechanic maybe 4 weeks ago. We talked about that. Tell me about the buses, tell me about their condition. They're high in mileage, but he said they're in good shape. We're going to have to get new vehicles, Mr. Oper, there's no doubt. Mrs. Neal's working with Parma on some of their newer used vehicles, because to go right from to a new bus is going to cost us about $90,000. I'm hoping we're going to be able to transition through some of that. Eventually, we're going to have to, if we want to increase our fleet, we're going to have to purchase buses. But I'm confident now our buses will be fine. They're currently taking some of our kids. So Mary Ellen is currently using our transportation, our vehicles to transport our kids when needed. We will need another bus for sure.
Ted, are we gonna have to hire another mechanic?
I don't think so, no. No.
So the current staffing for repairs, mechanic is built in?
Yeah, it's been the same person for the past 10 years. I mean, I think he's the same guy that was here when I was here.
Okay.
So he works at the RTA. I think he works varying shifts, and he comes on and in his off time to work with our buses. And I think that's another piece of why it's important to have a staff member in the bus garage at all times, because if there is an emergency, there's somebody to get a hold of and say, hey, we need you here for whatever reason. That's also why J&F is going to kind of fill the hole until we get our fleet up to where it should be.
So what do we, about fuel, we're having that tank removed, are we gonna get enough above ground?
No, we actually having the buses go to the gas station and do it right now. Yeah, that's what we're doing now. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna talk to the city to see if there's any potential for a shared service agreement, but I don't know their situation, so I haven't even had that conversation. But right now we're using.
I believe they fuel up at the service garage.
Yeah, and that's what actually Mrs. A's contribution to the suggestion. So I'm gonna have that conversation with the mayor at some point to see if there would be any interest in partnering with that piece, because that would be helpful for us.
Okay.
the drivers that went to Parma that were Brooklyn employees before, when we switched to Parma, what's the status as far as that's concerned?
Right now, we have slated Mrs. Sefchek is going to be that 8-hour employee. Melody Click, a former Brooklyn driver who I believe is working for J&F right now, is going to come back to us. And then we have one of our cleaners who is CDL certified. We just got to get him the passenger endorsement, and we're thinking of him for some of those van runs. So again, we're recruiting. We got a couple applications in AppleTrack right now. As we get through the spring, we're gonna see what we go from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Okay. I want to end my comments unfortunately on a very somber note. Over the weekend, one of our graduates, Sean Acierno, was tragically killed, and it has hit a lot of folks in the community pretty hard. This obviously is a picture of Sean with Mr. Holko, and I've titled it Sean Acierno Forever Hurricane. I'm going to start off, if I can, with two. I had two of his teachers send me something this afternoon, and I told him I would read it. So I'm going to start off with Mr. Jones, and you can see Sean is there in number 34. So this is from Jeff Jones, former coach and teacher at our high school. The Ides of March is famously recognized in William Shakespeare's play as of March 15th and the death of Julius Caesar. The meaning of the Ides of March are ancient markers to identify the lunar phases for the first moon, which typically lands between March 13th and the 15th. It has also been recognized as the New Year, which was meant to be celebrated and rejoiced. Even though it's famously known for Caesar, in Brooklyn it may now be recognized as a tragic passing of a graduate. Sean Acierno. For those of you that have been fortunate enough to know Sean, you would remember him as the kid in the class who could bring a smile to everyone and he interacted with. He was funny, witty, kind, caring, and always brought joy to whatever environment he was in. On March 13th, Sean's life tragically ended. This brings a new meaning to the quote, "Beware of the Ides of March," from the play. It will also bring new meaning to how we may think of life on a daily basis. Be kind, caring, and live in the moment with friends and family. This is how Sean would live his life, and it is how he would like himself to be remembered. We wish to pay respects to his family and friends. As we mourn Sean's passing, I hope we move forward into celebrating and rejoicing in his life as the Ides of March has brought Sean to a new phase. And that's from Coach Jones. Last picture here, Sean's on the end there, number 34. This is from Coach Hokel, Mr. Hokel, English teacher at the high school and also former coach. Sean Acierno, class of 2014, proudly wore number 34 for the blue and gold. He was a 2-year varsity basketball player and also a member of the baseball and golf teams. Sean loved Brooklyn, loved his teammates and coaches, and a smile that could lighten up a dark room. He wasn't the tallest or most athletic, but his heart and internal drive provided him with opportunities to be successful. In basketball, he was a terrific shooting guard and the king of the 4-point play. He was a regular starter on a team that won double-digit games, and in that season, he was one of the main reasons that the varsity team won a tournament game and later came within 1 point of winning the sectional championship. After high school, Sean worked at Swagelock and made a wonderful impact on his colleagues. He was devoted to his family and always wanted to be there for them, both in good times and bad. Sean's life was tragically taken on March 13th at the age of 29, but his legacy will live on for everyone who encountered him. Number 34 will remain in our hearts forever. You know, and that's from 2 of the staff members that knew him very closely, and I had Sean as a middle school student. If his family is listening this evening, and friends, there's nothing that we can say that will take away the pain that everybody's feeling for his loss, especially a man at such a young age and that was lost so tragically and for a ridiculous reason. What I can say to family and friends is I've had thousands of students across me in my career. I hadn't thought of Sean in 10 plus years on Saturday when I heard of this. And as soon as I heard Sean had passed, I immediately remembered Sean, his face, his mannerisms, who he was as a person. He was one of the only kids in that middle school who would have fun with me, give me a little bit of a hard time, interact with me in a positive way. To his family and friends, that's a testament to Sean and his life and his legacy and who he was as a person. And I know Brooklyn the community, his family, his friends will be feeling his loss for many years to come. The only thing I can say is I'm so thankful that he crossed our paths in his short time because in 10 years, I haven't thought about him, but he made that much of an impact on me, family, and friends. And so on behalf of the district, staff, Board of Education, my condolences to his family and friends. If we could take a short 10 seconds to honor his memory. Thank you, Mrs. Barczyk. That's my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Polaris. Now on to the treasurer's report and Mrs. A.
I first want to say my condolences to Sean's family. I'm going to piggyback off a little bit on what Dr. Claire said a little bit earlier, with the NEOnet agreement that's coming up on the agenda, there's just a small increase to the general fund. The Connect services were approximately $35,800, and the NEOnet one is $37,500. It's comparable. The storage tank removal is on for tonight. The money that we transferred last time from the permanent improvement fund, the $25,000, that's going to the removal of this. The total is $35,126. There was already some money in that fund for any expenses, plus that transfer from the permanent improvement fund. So that's where those funds came from. I also have the contract recommendation for Karen Smith below on the agenda. And I just wanted to talk about the furniture that we're buying. Dr. Claire's kind of already said it, but I just want to reiterate that the ESSER funds will be used. ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief. And we're using these funds that we got from the federal government to help promote social distancing and provide principals and other leaders with necessary items to address their needs. And that is all I have for my report.
Thank you, Mrs. A. Now on to comments and board committee reports. And tonight we're going to start off with Mr. Rob Slattery.
The only board committee meeting we had was yesterday. We had the rec board meeting. Some of the things that came out of there, the softball and youth baseball registration started at March 15th. Youth soccer and volleyball registration has ended. That season will begin this week. Mr. Abruzzi, the rec commissioner, said we're getting good responses from sign up, and they actually went to a website. They have their own new websites up. It's brooklynrec.com. I actually went and visited it today. It's really user-friendly. It seems to be a lot easier. You can sign up for swimming lessons, anything they offer. You used to have to take your kid up and get in line and do everything and wait. Now with the social distancing, everything is online to where they just made it so much easier to sign up for all the programs. The ice rink is getting a new roof. These are some of the projects that are gonna be going on. The roof's gonna start in May. The ice will be down from the May 3rd to June 1st. The baseball diamonds, it's Wrigley and Fenway, I think, are the two behind the rec center. They're gonna be losing one of them, the one closer to the church itself, because of the project with the new city hall. And they're gonna be putting some money into M1 and M2 to rehab them for future use. What else we have here? That's pretty much it. Oh, and there was a lot of people asking about Safety Town, because they put money into where the tennis courts used to be. They will have Safety Town this year. They're just tying some loose ends up, and they'll be releasing the information soon. Yeah. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Now on to Mr. Rick Singer.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. As a parent and fellow school board member, I'd like to commend our superintendent, our principals, treasurer, and our staff for the excellent job on transitioning from a virtual to a hybrid to all in school model of normalcy that we all strive for, and to provide the best educational model for our Brooklyn students. The next step obviously would be to get our athletics and extracurricular activities in full force, and the transportation model that you set will help us get there as well. Speaking of great extracurricular activities, congrats to our Brooklyn Thespians for presenting musical Freaky Friday this past weekend. Great performance by all of our student performers, cast members, crew, and support staff, which includes Mr. Casper, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Black, and of course, Mrs. Cipriani and her husband. This production in this environment of COVID and lockdowns could not have been successful if not for our Brooklyn music boosters and our sponsors. Looking forward to next year's musical as always. Let's finish off the rest of the year supporting our spring athletics programs and pray for a boring summer of no pandemics or lockdowns. Again, I'd like to express my condolences to the Acierno family as well. And it sounds to me like we lost a great person here in Brooklyn. So condolences to the family. End of report.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. Now on to Mr. Jim Ober.
Thank you, Mrs. Barczyk. My Polaris report, the Polaris Aspire program recently received state and federal grant funds to implement a new program for students enrolled in English for speakers of other language classes. This pilot program is enabling Polaris to offer 60 hours of occupational training to help prepare students to become cardiographic technicians. In addition, students enrolled in the program are receiving 20 hours of instruction in employability skills in English, focusing on vocabulary and related health content. Textbook supplies and certification examination fees are also being supported through the grant. 9 students are currently enrolled in the program with a projected April graduation. Each student had to meet educational criteria and sign a letter of commitment to be considered for entry into the program. Students are required to have a minimum of a 90% attendance with a C average or better to successfully complete the program. Upon graduation, students will be eligible to take the Certified EKG Technician exam through the National Health Center Association at no cost. And this program probably will be offered again in the future, depending on the success of it. Financially, Polaris is $300,000 to the good year-to-date over last year-to-date. Enrollment for the upcoming school year 21-22 is down some, but now that all associate districts are back in, that's anticipated to pick back up. Also on the financial part, A.M. Higley cut a check back to Polaris for funds not used in the renovation for $141,000, which is returning back to the PI fund. And some of the paving of the ring road encircling the campus will happen, plus some other things that they haven't decided yet upon. Customer service revenue and adult education revenue is down, but the adult education fund is still in the black, and CARES money will cover the differences to bring the balances back to previous levels. And I would also like to extend my condolences to the Acierno family as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Oper. Now to Mr. Rocky Neal.
My committee is the legislation committee, and I'm trying to figure out how to attack the State Board of Education as far as surroundings, so I can give you a solid report. There's 8 different committees, so I'm gonna try and get that for April, some chunk of it. So when I get to that, I've communicated with the State Board President, so we're trying to corner it. I'm trying to get some stuff from it. I also see some stuff that I would like to put on there as well too. So next month, I'm hoping to have a much more detailed report. I don't know if everybody knows the State Board of Education. There's 11 seats that are voted, and 8 are appointed by the governor. So there are several new seats, and they're starting to get all their committee moving. So once I get a little more detail on some of their legislation, I will bring it to the table. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. I would also like to extend my condolences to Sean's family. I would also like to congratulate all the students and the staff who participated in the play over the weekend, the musical. Wish everyone a happy holiday and Easter season, and go out and support our spring athletes. I know it's kind of cold outside, but before you know it, those baseball games and softball games will be going on. As always, I can always be reached if you'd like to speak to me, anything Brooklyn Schools related, at 216-406-4304, and that's the end of my report. Now on to the reading of minutes and approval of minutes, and tonight's reader is Mr. Rob Slattery.
We're all socially distanced, so I'm taking that off. My glasses are getting fogged. Okay, 3.1 minutes of the Board of Education. Resolved that the minutes of the March 2nd, 2021 Board of Education meeting be adopted, and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meeting is hereby reaffirmed and approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of February 2021, including all purchase orders paid and all then and now statements for the month as submitted.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into a shared service agreement with Northeast Ohio Network for Education Technology, NEOnet, for the attachment for the purpose of EMIS services and support effective July 1st, 2021, netting July 30th, 2022 for the amount of $37,500. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent enter into a shared service agreement with Northeast Ohio Network Educational Technology, NEOnet, per the attachment for the purpose of internet access, service, and transport, effective July 1st, 2021, and ending July 30th, 2026, for the amount of $29,460. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into an agreement with Collins Equipment Corporation for the attachment for the purpose of removing the underground storage tank located at 4530 Ridge Road for the amount of $35,126 out of the underground storage tank fund. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into a primary service agreement with the Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County per ORC 3313.843 for the 2021-2022 and 2022-2023 school year. Agreement on file in Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into interagency agreement regarding the provisions of service delivery and transition for young children and families in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, per the attachment for the State Support Team 3. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into agreement with Hometown Ticketing, Inc. per the attachment for the purpose of online ticketing platform for the 2021-2022 school year. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into agreement with Learn 21 for the use of the one-to-one manager for Chromebook device management for the 2021-2022 school year.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into agreement with Martin Public Seating to purchase furniture out of our SR2 grant fund for the community room 173 in Brooklyn High School per the attached quote.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Can I ask, I don't know if this would go to Colleen, so ESSER funds, can you tell the, public what can they be used for, what they can't be, so they know, what we're, if we
Yes.
have any kind of restrictions on them?
They have restrictions. They're very broad in their restrictions. Do I actually think I have it up right here? But anything that could help with the relief of the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Let's see what else we have. If it prevents social distancing, you can use it. If it addresses learning loss, school facility repairs, provide principals and other school leaders with resources necessary to address needs for their individual schools.
Buy buses?
If we need them to social distance, yes. So it's very broad, but as long as it has to do with the pandemic.
Okay.
Is that-
Yeah, no, thank you, that's perfect, because I just wanted to explain it for the audience so they know it doesn't just go into the general fund and we could use it for anything
Correct,
specific.
correct.
Yep. Okay, Mrs. A, anyone else?
We'll take every other seat out, right?
I'm
Well, you know what,
Yes.
you
Mrs.
look at it.
Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter an agreement with Martin Public Seating to purchase furniture out of our SR2 grant funds for the cafeteria in the Brooklyn High School, per the attached quote.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into an agreement with Martin Public Seating to purchase furniture out of the permanent improvement funds for the English rooms in the Brooklyn High School, per the attached quote.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions,
I
comments?
have a question. What are English rooms and how many are there?
4 English rooms, so all of our high school English rooms, so that would be specific to Mrs. Barber's room, Mr. Holko's room, Mr. Kelber's room, and Mr. Rademacher's room.
Okay, so four rooms.
All 4 correct, 4 classrooms, Mr.
Thank you.
Singer, correct. And I'm hopefully that we can do 4 to 5 classrooms over the next 3 to 4 years and eventually cycle through the entire high school. So, you know, it's long overdue, obviously, but I think this is the responsible way to do that. You know, I want it all at once, but just not there, but we'll do it over small chunks over the next 4 to 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves the 6th grade trip to the Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village on May 21st, 2021.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2023 for the following administrator contingent upon successful completion of the background check and verification of credentials. Michael Becker, Director of Alternative Education and Athletics.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments?
Welcome, Mr. Becker.
Welcome, Mr. Becker. Mrs. A, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Hold on. Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
I'm going to be open and transparent. I think this is a wonderful decision, but I do know Mr. Becker, so that, for that reason, I'm going to abstain so that, to avoid any conflict of interest. But I think it's a wonderful decision. Okay? Yes? I
Welcome
abstain.
aboard.
Yeah, first of all, I want to, welcome, congratulate him, you know, and thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Mr. Becker from, to the district. Mr. Becker, I'm sure will tell you at some point, went through a pretty extensive process, 4 interview rounds, screening round, a panel round, presentation round, and then a final meeting with me last week. So Mike comes highly recommended. He did an amazing job, and thrilled that he's coming aboard with us. I'd like to just quickly say congratulations to and thank you to Mr. Verby. He's transitioning back to the classroom for next year. So I want to thank him for everything he's done for Brooklyn community students and staff. And Mr. Becker will be working with Mr. Verba on the transition over the next 2 or 3 months. So if it's okay, I'd like to give Mr. Becker a few minutes here to say something.
You can take off your mask too, since we're social distance.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Board of Education. I would like to thank Dr. Kalaris, Mrs. Kalish, Mr. Hare, Mr. Larson. I'd also like to thank the teachers and the coaches that I had the opportunity to speak with. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to get started, and I'm very proud to be a Brooklyn Hurricane. Thank you.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on
5-2.
Thank you. Resolve the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves 20 days, 160 hours of transition for Michael Becker, Director of Alternative Education and Athletics, at the daily rate of $366.67 per day, effective March 17th, 2021 through July 31st, 2021.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Barczyk, Board of Education, I just want to be clear, this is for the transition with Mr. Verba, working with city officials, working with coaches. You know, obviously athletics starts pretty quickly here for the summer. And so we want to give Mr. Becker a chance to work with coaches, work with kids, and get everything set up for the fall. So that's the reason for the transition
Thank
time.
you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
For the same reason, I'm going to abstain, but I do think it's a great idea, but I will abstain from the vote.
Mr. Becker, just so you're aware, I had a rec board meeting with Mr. Abruzzi, so he's excited that you're coming on board, and I'll get you his contact information.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024 for the following administrator.
Can I have a motion, please?
Michelle Kalish,
Oh, sorry.
Assistant Superintendent.
Oh, sorry. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024 for the following administrator. Paula Jones, Director of Pupil Services, I'm sorry.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2022 for the following administrator. Taylor Smith, Director of Systems and Instructional Technology.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2025 for the following administrator. Sandra Neal, Supervisor of Support Services and Building Manager.
So
I'm-
moved.
I'll second that. And questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Abstain.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2023 for the following administrator. Kristen Seco, Coordinator of Student Support Programs.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the administrative contract effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2023 for the following administrator. Laura Smith, Brooklyn School Assistant Principal.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt contract effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025 for the following employee. Laura Baker, Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves Robert Hennings as a volunteer assistant track coach for the 2020-2021 school year contingent upon completion of the proper certification.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob, for volunteering. Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
I see him chasing the kids around with the grill. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt contract July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023 for the following employee. Karen Smith, Assistant to the Treasurer.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education, in accordance with ORC 3313.26, gratefully accepts a generous donation of a tailgate for the school-owned vehicle at the estimate Estimated cost of $100 for McMahon's Wrecking under the condition that the school board has full control over this item.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a
Second.
second? Questions, comments?
Thank
for-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donnie.
Thanks, Don. Lynn. Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes. Do you have any correspondence related to action information? None? Okay. Any other business?
I would like to say to the Acierno family and all his friends who were all pretty good kids, we are so sorry. We are so sorry. This is very sad news. I coached Sean, seen him in the gym, and there's nothing but good you can say about the kids, so it's a very sad day. So our deepest condolences to him and his friends. So that's all I have to say.
I wish I'd have met him. I mean,
Yeah.
everything I've heard, he sounded like a fantastic kid and
was a great kid.
young adult, and
It was.
it's a true loss.
He was fun to be around. You know what I mean? He was just, if you're having a bad day, he's one of those guys who could pick you up. Just who he was.
It was.
Madam President, I do have one correspondence related. I got an email today from Brooklyn's music department for a fundraiser for music equipment. I don't remember us approving that.
You are correct, we did not.
So who's spearheading that?
I'll have to find out. I do not know. Was it from a Brooklyn account? Email address? Wasn't a, I'm just asking if it was like a spam or a phishing or anything like that.
It could have been, but
Was it the
I'll
boosters?
forward the email over to you.
Please, and I'll find out. I
And
appreciate it.
it's one of those kind of GoFundMe type pages.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
let me, forward it to me and then I'll take a look.
Yeah, let me know as soon as you can, because my company may be donating. So-
Yeah, I will let you know for sure.
Legitimate.
Yeah, I will let you know.
Maybe not forward it.
Yeah. Anyone else? I'd like to announce the next regular meeting of the Brooklyn Board of Education is on April 6th, 2021, in the Treasurer's Office Conference Room located at Brooklyn Board of Education, 9200 Bidoff Road, Brooklyn, Ohio, at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.